Welcome back, dear viewers. The program is Life Connect, navigating life together. Tonight in the house, I'm not alone, and I'm not with Mommy Cindy alone, but we have another pastor's wife. Her name is Pastor Florence Kaiwa. She's here to share her experience. A lot has been said, the role of a pastor's wife. I've learned so many things I didn't know that it happens anywhere on this planet where a husband or a pastor's wife is competing with the senior pastor who is also a husband. But I'm here to learn, and I know you are also learning something. It is a very wonderful evening. The house is warm, and as we start right now, we are back. I want us to talk about the challenges. I know there are many challenges that you're facing as pastor's wife. There are a lot of other things that we're looking at. We are looking at parenting as pastor's wife. Are you still into the role of parenting, or because of the so many people in our houses, we have given away this responsibility? You're most welcome. Thank you for coming back to the show.
Thank you. Yes, we were talking about this earlier, and I think that first of all, your children are yours. They are your responsibility. They are not the responsibility of the church. They are not they are the responsibility of other people. You have to take care of your children. So I think that God expects us as pastors' wives, as Christians anyway, to raise our children in the way of the Lord. So I think it's very important that pastors' wives are concerned to see the destiny of their children, but also encourage them to serve the God they serve. I think we have also seen some pastors' children not like church that much, not like to be involved, because sometimes they feel they are not given time. You know, they feel like sometimes the parents are prioritizing other people over them. So I think that also pastors need to be intentional to create time for children. And you need to have some days where you know this is our family time. Encourage them, speak to them why we are serving God. Let them love our God. Tell them your story. Tell them, you know, I didn't know the Lord. Be honest with them. Like, you know, God found me in this state. I've shared with my children before, there's a time I struggled with depression while I was at the university. And God delivered me. And my son was like, really? I was like, yeah, I wasn't always really on fire for the Lord. So I think it's very important that we take children as they are children, even when they are church. You know, sometimes also there's stereotypes. Oh, you're a pastor's child, sit like this. You know, the stereotype about a pastor also comes to the wife and the children. And I remember one time someone told me about my very little son. I was sharing with pastor one time, very little boy. I'm like, oh, they need to be doing this. I said, it's just a child. He's not the pastor.
He's not the pastor.
No, he's not.
That's
that's
something I was sharing with pastors' wives, because I do pastors' wives every once a month. So they would ask me a question like, Mommy, we are finding challenges when it comes to our children. It's the way the church looks at the children of the pastors. I think that is totally wrong. These children need to be allowed to be children, because they are like children like any other child. I asked a question. If a doctor has a child, will you say, you are a doctor's child, why did you do this? No, you don't. But it's a profession. He's a doctor. And the doctor does his own work. If his doctor's failed, you don't put it to a child. And these doctor's children are allowed to be like any other child. The congregation has made our children to feel out of place. And that's the reason why you find some of pastors' children, they don't like church. Not because they don't like God. They love God. They love God. But there's so much judgmental. They judge. These people judge our children.
How can you do this? Your pastor's child.
Pastor's kid. Why are you doing like this? Forgetting that they are children like any other child. So those are the challenges we face, especially as now mothers. Because as a mother, you feel pain when people are talking about your child. Like, really? And sometimes one of the ladies was asking me, my children want to join ministry, but people are making it very hard for these children to join ministry. They make it so complicated and all that and all that. I think that the church should give support to the pastor's family, the wife and the children, because you want this man of God to serve God, and you want him to continue serving you as people, and to serve you when he's with peace and love and all that. But all this starts in his family. If his family is not doing well, don't expect him to do much.
Well.
Yes.
So you are actually doing this favor to yourself when you are now opposing the family, you are attacking the family, you are not supporting them. And this comes with a lot of challenges to pastor's wife, because as a mother, remember, you give your husband space to serve God, then you take more of the responsibility of the children. I remember when I conceived, I had a show, but I had to stay away from the TV, I had to stay away from many things. I had to concentrate on myself. After giving birth, I gave birth early, I had to be there for my daughter. I was also suffering a loss at the same time, so I had to take some time off. But my husband was running with ministry, not because I was not supporting, but many people said, Mommy, we don't see her in church. What is happening with Mommy and all that?
So they were taking you to be superhuman, even at times, at the time when you are
be yourself.
Yes.
You can never be. You know, this is a time I have just given birth early, and I've lost a son, and I've waited for 8 years, and I'm going through all this. And you can't be sensitive enough to say, she's going through a period. We need to stand with her. I don't say people didn't stand with me. People stood with me, very many of them. But of course, those few.
The ones who are judging you, the ones who are so
judgmental. And there are many pastors who are going through this.
Yes.
But they also have the responsibility of their children, of their families. They need to work also.
And at the end of the day, when things don't work out, for example, if they don't work out with your children, we shall still come up and judge and say, can you imagine? The woman was just here.
And I think that's
and now you see the kind of children she has bred.
And before we went for the break, I think we're sharing about empowering pastors' wives to know, be yourself.
Yes.
Be yourself. I think I've also had Pastor Sandy say this many times in the conferences. Be yourself. You need to reach to a point where you know you can't please everybody.
That's right.
And you need to have priorities in your life. You need to know your husband, your children are priority. Because these children grow very fast. Before you know it, they're in their teenage years, they are living.
Firstborn is already in their teens.
Yes. And what you do in their lives will remain. You know, they remember the memories, you know. And for me, I remember my father was not a pastor. He was just like a man going to church, leading some things. But I still remember that we used to pray together. I still remember the songs we sang together.
And you see how much it helped you as a person, that and I was, family prays together.
And I was telling my children, you know, I used to sing this song with my dad, every time.
And you have these good memories about it, you know. And it helps you to value now your children. To say, my dad was able to give me time. I think my children deserve it. And I should give them time.
And I think we need to be intentional on
in
that.
everything
like,
we do.
You need to know, this is my life, this is me. And when Pastor was sharing about giving birth, I remember during COVID, I had a baby. I was going through the season. Yes, I had a baby. And we were resuming church and we were praying from home. Because church was closed. My God, it was really challenging for me. Because people will come very early, they're in the garage, they're in the front, you know. And I was really, you know, like,
there was no privacy.
There's no privacy. And then they want you to go and sit in the church with a baby, you know. And they're like, you know,
and
I'm still very, I needed my space, you know. And I think that's why she said, you are a human being. And people want to know. And sometimes when you stand up and say, you know what, sorry, I cannot come. Like, oh, you are not coming for us.
So the whole pastor's wife is not coming for the service.
Let me tell you something. What is amazing? That's what, like she said, as a pastor's wife, be yourself. And number one, as a pastor's wife, what I can say, and I always say this, be born again. So when you are born again and you are walking with God and you know God and you love God, you will not do things to please people, but to please God.
Wait a minute, Mommy. As a pastor's wife, be born again.
Yes,
is it possible for a pastor's wife not?
I'm not so sure, but I'm going to say this way.
Okay.
When you are born again, you do things and you do things the right way, and that pleases God. Now you don't do things because you want everybody to be happy about you. At the end of the day, you do wrong things because you just want to please people. But is God pleased?
I think what Mom is also referring to, the fear of God.
The fear
we
of
are
the
living
Lord.
in days where I think the Bible also talks about the love of many going cold in the last days. And there are things you hear also that happen in church. I'm like, do these people love God?
Do these people
and
fear
I think
God?
That's what I shared, that we need to have grace. We need to be sincerely loving each other. Because if I love you, for example, if I love you, I'll give you grace. I'll be like, oh, I don't know why she didn't come today. let me call.
Let me find out.
Let me pray for her,
yes.
you know.
Before judging you.
Yes, before judging.
Before
Mommy
judging.
wasn't happy today in the church. We're talking about pastors'
Is
wives.
everything okay?
Because there are days when you are going through issues.
That's right.
Maybe it's your job, you know. Like, I'm a humanitarian by profession. Maybe you have 1,000 reports to write. And you're so stressed, and, you know, someone is putting you on pressure, you know. And you come in the church, you really don't want, but then you fall in the plan of that day.
Yeah.
Maybe they are dedicating children. Someone is also waiting for you,
That's
telling
it.
your story, mom, you know. So sometimes they're like, how come she's not happy today? You are human. I can't be
I
smiling
think she doesn't
every
like
day.
me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There's
I
that
think mommy
notion.
doesn't like
I
me.
don't think she likes me.
Exactly. And there's a point I was trying to tell you that amazing themselves who are quick to judge.
Yes.
They once they have issues, they don't come to church.
Yes.
Yes, they stay home. They tell the pastor, I'm going through some things. And I'm at
Yes,
home today, I'm
yes.
not coming. They say, but we didn't see you in church. Even if it's a what, they are free to do their life. They are free to live their lives and
Yes.
do. But there's so much quick to judge when it comes to pastor's wife and pastor's children, which I think is not fair. If I can face challenges, I should be able and kind enough to know that she can also face challenges.
Yes,
And
yes.
if I need support, I should be kind enough to know
That
if
she
she's
also
going through
needs-
something, she also needs support.
And they're
I
greater.
think-
The challenges are more for the pastors'
and
wives.
if we think like that, then the church will thrive. The church will progress, and there'll be so much. The work of God will move on well, very well. Because if the pastor's wife is supported, the children
Yes.
are supported. The
Everyone
man
is
of God
happy.
will serve
Will
God.
be supported
you know?
as well.
So if you want support, what makes you think the pastor's wife does not need support?
You know,
They need
So
even more support.
more support, because now
they are carrying a bigger burden.
definitely. Before even that man of God stand to preach, this pastor's wife have prayed for this man. This pastor's wife have supported this man. This pastor's wife have ironed the clothes, has prepared everything for the man of God. Make sure everything is well. I, for one, I make sure my husband
Yes.
have taken care of him before I present him to the people. So people are
Yes.
just seeing somebody who is presentable,
Yes.
somebody who's done not, but there's a lot of work that has
There's
been done
work
to
that's
hide.
going on
There
there.
is
Work.
emotional support, spiritual support,
Yes.
and even sometimes
Physical
financial support
support.
and
Yes.
physical support.
Yeah.
It's all given.
Yes.
But most times, and that's why I want pastors to be confident and be contented where you are.
Yes.
Don't worry that they have not applauded you. I always say this is how I comfort myself.
Yes.
And I want you to borrow a leaf if it can work for you. As you are applauding Bishop Kiganda, you can't exclude me.
Of
Yes.
course, of course, of course.
Why? Because the suit is wearing, I've ironed it.
And
And after all
you make
said,
sure it's clean.
Yes, and you are prayed together.
yes,
And you are part of it. You're
thank
seeing
you.
this. There's
and,
more.
And when you preach more,
Yeah.
I'm going to say, yes,
Yes.
man of God,
Man of
preach.
God,
Why? Because my prayers are working. I prayed, I said, God, if he's going to stand,
Hallelujah.
give him the word
Glory
to
be to
preach.
God.
Give
So
him
that
that
he's going to
grace.
release.
Yes.
The hearts are healed, the people are blessed, salvation has taken place, miracles has happened. So for me, before you applaud me, I applaud myself. and that does not give me
I
stress.
love
because
that. I love that confidence.
Yes,
Yes,
and that has
yes.
helped me in the
I
ministry.
mean, you need to do
I-
that.
And you know,
Yes.
I always say, don't wait for people to celebrate
Yes.
you. You wait forever.
Yes.
Learn to celebrate yourself. The little that you have done, it's not easy to be a pastor's wife. I'm
It's
telling
not.
I
you.
know.
It's not easy.
Emotional,
I'm
the
telling
emotional
you.
attachment.
Yes.
I think that I've also heard from pastors' wives say, I think why some it gets harder, because I'm saying this because I know there are pastors' wives, who are listening to us who may be
That's true.
struggling in
Yeah.
the role.
Yeah.
Maybe expectations, also personally, also maybe things to do in their nature, in their makeup, in their character. Maybe there are things that they cannot contain. And because it feels like when you have a man who is a pastor, is a people's person.
That's right.
You
He's
are
a man
like
of
you're
God.
sharing him,
yes.
basically.
And
Yeah,
we share
yeah.
our
Yes,
husbands.
you're
That's the
sharing
truth.
him with the world
do.
and emotionally.
Yes.
And I think that I think that's why as people train pastors, it's good also train women who are in the ministry.
Yeah, and
To
that's why we came up with
expect-
that program.
Yes,
that
to
we do,
expect that this will happen. And I think that sometimes one day was saying, oh, they are taking away my husband, you know. They are really taking him, he's not listening.
He's
But
taken,
when
he's
you know
gone, yeah.
this is the purpose. And I think people do not get it until you are in those shoes. Until when you know, like me, I was about to deliver my son, and one day I have to go to the hospital. I wanted to be there with pastor. Then then there's someone who was getting married in the church, and they were also counting on pastor, and they're saying, oh, if you don't come, when you say it, I feel if you convince them, they'll give me the wife. And I was really like, God, this is really tough, you know.
There is also this other person who has lost someone.
Yes, they've lost somebody.
And they expect the pastor to attend.
Yes, look, like I have someone close, they lost somebody. And my husband, that time I was not in the country, I work out. And then I had... they had to go, they wanted him to be at the burial, then he had to pick the children from school, then he had to be at the church. You know, I think we need to understand life, you know, the expectations that people give and what they think that you should be doing, it's too much. And when we love people and understand them, we will lend that helping hand and provide a situation where
there's a point
you are
she
supporting.
talked about that we are married to this man of God,
yes.
this man of God.
Yes.
But this man of God is also married to church.
To the church.
Yes.
It's something that we cannot deny.
Yes.
But now this is what I say to pastors, so you can never fight church. You
Yes.
can never fight God.
Yes.
Understand the person you marry.
Yes.
You married a man of God. A man of God definitely is going to be a man of people. My husband, you can't separate him from people.
Yes,
You can't.
same here, you can't.
He's a
Every
he's a
pastor.
people person.
Yes.
He always want to check out on somebody. And for him, he does not struggle with it because that is his calling.
That is
it.
He flows with it. And you
Yes.
can, you know, in COVID, I said, yes. As much as I was crying, COVID has come. But one thing I was happy
I
about
think you're going
was
to
like,
spend some more time together.
you know, I was like,
Without
there's an
people.
opportunity to cook all the recipes
Yes.
and serve them. One day my husband woke up and was like, I'm not really feeling well. I was like, what is it? I have to go to church. That time we were in a total lockdown.
Yes.
And we were not getting the stickers for the
Operation,
media.
I cannot breathe.
It
I
had
think
just
that's
come.
the one.
That is before that even.
Yes.
It came later. But now we are in total lockdown. There's no movement, even the media cards, because we have media. But at that time, even we had not gotten even the stickers. We are still juggling. How do we get these stickers and all that? He stood at the balcony and was like, I have to find off reaching church. So I looked at him and was like, so how do you plan to reach
How
church?
do you
He said,
plan to go there?
I'm going to buy a bicycle. Where he got the bicycle, I don't know. He started in the compound. I'm rehearsing to go to church.
To go to church.
Thank God we got the stickers and he had to go to church. Actually, one day he slept at church. I was like, you know what, honey, I'm not coming. They looked and I was fun when I'm at church and I'm not coming. I don't have any way to come home. I was like, okay, so what is happening? I'm sleeping at church. I was like, okay. He slept at church. So those are the type of people I'm married to. His joy is to see the work of God progressing. His joy is to see people, God's people being served.
Yes.
As cancelled. My husband can cancel a line of people. It's like, don't you get tired? And to him, that is his joy.
That is
now
his
you need to
joy.
be secure enough
Yes, secure.
as a
That's the
pastor's wife
word.
to know I married a man of God who is supposed to serve God's people. I don't stress myself when I found Bishop in counseling with another woman. He's doing God's work. And that's where the trust comes in.
Yes.
Be secure enough
Yes.
and trust
Yes.
the man God has given to you
Yes.
and support him. When ministry is like that, knowing that I came in his life as a helper, I need to support him to serve God.
Yes.
You give him all the support. You don't need to be insecure. You find him counseling, because there are people who come in counseling and they're showing, I'm not comfortable with you, madam.
Yes.
What is you're seated there?
Yeah,
I want to
step
talk to
out.
my
I want to
father.
talk to my
So
father.
you just have to be stand and give them
Yes,
space and
yes.
allow them to be, because some people are not
Do
comfortable
what
to
you
share.
like.
You just
Do
have to
your other
identify and
things.
create space.
There are people who
Go
come
where
to
you are
me.
needed.
I don't know that you have found this also. There are
Yes.
people who come to me, they'll tell
Yes.
me, Mommy, I want to talk to you as you.
Yes.
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 You
It
say, okay, I'm
happens.
with Bishop, can you come? I said, no, I want to talk to
I
you
want to
as
talk to you.
So you don't have to be insecure as a pastor's wife, because sometimes the church is suffering because some of them, they're so insecure.
Yes, yes.
But trust your husband, pray for him. The only thing you can never control a man's heart.
Yes.
You can never. If that man chooses to cheat you, he will
Yes.
do that.
Whether you
Yes.
were there
Exactly.
Yes,
So
yes.
yes.
Find a
surrender.
way.
I always say, God is the one who gave me to you. Gave
Yes.
me. You are the one. God. You came from God. I will always surrender you to God. So if you choose to do any other ways, your God,
And
your
Pastor,
Father,
the issue
you
of
will face
purpose.
him one day. Yeah.
The issue of purpose. When Pastor was sharing, I remembered something I wrote in my book. Understand the pastor's heart.
Yes.
It's very important to know that God has called pastors to bring people out of darkness. And I think that when you know the purpose, you will be secure. This is what we do every day. This is what he has to do. But if you don't support, and I think I want to encourage pastors' wives to support the husbands.
Yes.
Be supportive.
Yes.
Because if you don't, God will keep raising people who can support. And then you will feel like you are not needed. That's where people feel they don't have value. Be a woman of value.
Be a woman of value.
Make up your mind that your husband will succeed in ministry.
Exactly.
Make up your mind that you're going to add value.
Actually, what I told
to the
myself,
man.
I told myself when I realized I'm getting married to the man of God, and I accepted, and I discovered this ministry is so big. It's a mega ministry. It's not something very small. I said, God, you are taking me to Uganda not to fail this man. If I'm to fail this man, let me not go, because I don't want to be the reason why this ministry fails. I want to come in this life of this man. Let there be a difference that I've come as a helper. If this ministry was here, let it go, let it progress. Then God, if you do that for me, I'll be very grateful. Help me. As me, I don't know, but I trust you have taken me there, that you have taken me there to help this man. If I've come when he's serving God like 5 days, let him do 6, 7, and give me peace in my heart. That if he tells me I'm going to Marara to serve, I'm happy with it. And for me, my joy is to see my husband serving God. My joy is to see my husband being invited for conferences. I give him all the support. As much as I say to him sometimes, baby, you need to rest. But I always want to give him that support.
And when you see the people who have been impacted, when you see the lives that have been transformed,
the testimonies.
And I want to encourage pastors' wives, it's an honor to serve the Lord in this capacity. Not everyone walks this journey. So instead of seeing it as a burden, we are sharing that because of the challenges. People see the challenge. The challenges are there, but they should not stop you from serving God. It is an honor. For me, what has really helped me down there is looking at the call. I'm like, God, thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to contribute to expanding your kingdom. So when you see that it is a purpose, you will be happy. And ministry will not be a burden. I mean, if someone annoyed you every day, yesterday, it happens to everybody. It means that as a Christian, you also have to grow as a woman of God. You have to grow in understanding
the part I was telling you,
the word
you
of
need to
God.
be born again. Because when you are born again and you love God, you know what God wants you to do.
You will love His people.
You will love His people.
You will love them.
And if someone offends you, be able to forgive. Because the Bible said forgive
and not to use that to get back to them. Like, I know what you did, you know. Because sometimes if you're not fully forgiving to people, you will be like having issues on everybody. Then you
and let me tell you,
them?
When you do that and the
difficult.
devil discover that's your weakness, you use it more to offend you. Definitely. Then what will happen, because the devil sees what you carry. Every pastor's wife, you carry something very big. You have a destiny. And don't allow the devil to don't allow
because
these people
offense
and unforgiveness and bitterness to abort the destiny you carry and the dream you have. So be born again, be guided by the word of God, and be prayerful. The power of prayer.
It cannot
prayer
be
is so powerful. You can stand any challenge. And for me, the way I see challenges when in ministry, it's my opportunity to grow. And it's my opportunity to go closer to God. Whenever I'm challenged by something, ministry, family, all that, it takes me in the closet. It's the time I seek God more. It's the time I'm separating myself, because I'm like, God, I want to hear from you. What are you telling me in this? What am I always say in that challenges, I'm learning. I must learn something. Let me not get out of this with bitterness, but let me get out of this with a learning, with a lesson, and let me become a better person. And if it's me who is wrong, show me how I can become better. So she's talking about purpose. When you understand the purpose of why you are a pastor's wife, the purpose, the calling that God has given to you, and why you are in this man's life, in all the women, why you? So God has entrusted you with His baby, His church. Are you going to abandon your baby because somebody has offended you, you will not abandon it. So the same applies to ministry. Somebody has abandoned you, will not, he has annoyed you, you will not abandon the ministry. You continue running.
And prayer gives the grace.
Well, yes.
Prayer keeps you connected to heaven.
Exactly.
We cannot do what we do. We cannot serve God in our own strength.
No, you can't.
But when you're prayerful,
Yes.
you'll even do the impossible. You'll
Yes.
be able to forgive. You'll
It
love
is,
even
it is
the
in
most
the place
difficult.
of prayer where wisdom is released.
Yes.
It is in the place of prayer where you refresh. It is in the place of prayer where grace is released. Wisdom,
Plans. God gives you
ideas,
strategic plans.
you know, in the place of prayer. So you can't be a pastor's wife and live a
And you're not
prayerless life.
prayerful.
You need to be more prayerful and set scriptures. And I also want to say to pastor's wife, not every pastor's wife is a pastor.
That is a big
Yes.
challenge, because actually it is now kind of known
Exactly.
that
Now
once,
it's becoming an order of the
once you're
day.
a
No,
pastor's
it's not.
wife,
It's
you
a
are also
calling.
pastor.
It's a calling.
It's a calling.
I met my husband when I was already in a calling of a
Same
pastor
here,
and a
same
pastor.
here.
I did not become a pastor because I've joined Christianity Focus Center. I even went to the Bible school.
Okay.
So
And I think it is very good that actually we are ending on this note and pastor is bringing out that point.
Yes.
Because sometimes people may be pressuring the pastor's wife, you need to be a pastor.
You need to be
and
a
sometimes
pastor,
it
you
comes
need to
from
you need to be
from
to
the congregation,
serve.
Yes,
and sometimes
yes.
it comes from the husband
You
himself.
need to serve on the pulpit.
Yes,
Yeah.
you have to preach, and the comparisons. They
Yes.
compare Pastor Florence.
Yeah.
Pastor Florence is doing women conferences.
Yes. Why
Why
aren't
are
you
you
doing
not
Why are you
doing-
not doing them?
You should
Pastor
be-
Florence is preaching.
Ministry is a
Why are you not
calling.
preaching? It's a calling.
It's a calling.
There is one who is anointed to be in
Yes.
children's ministry.
Yes.
And she does it well. So I say
Yes.
to a pastor's wife,
Find your
identify,
purpose.
find your purpose. Who are you? What is your identity? And also, what can you do? What is your calling? What can you do?
You
And
do that,
what is
and
your
that will
passion?
be your contribution.
And that is your
that will
contribution to
stand
the
out.
ministry.
You don't
And that is your
necessarily need
support.
to be another
There are those
pastor.
pastors who are strong administrators.
Yes.
When she comes in, she can put things in order, but she's not on pulpit. But she talk about administration, very
good.
powerful. Allow her to flow. Also, the
Yes.
pastors, they also have that issue. You compare your wife
With others.
with
them.
others. It's always greener the other side.
Yes.
But forgetting the why it's greener the other side, the person is watering that garden.
Yes.
Water your garden.
What are you
Yes.
guys?
Support your wife.
Yes.
Pray for your wife.
Yes. Encourage them.
Encourage her.
Give them a
Correct
platform.
her in love. Give her a platform. Tell her, baby, you can do it.
Yes.
I had never preached in a bigger congregation like a stadium. But my husband told me, I'll put you on program. You are going to preach. I asked him, goodness God. All those people
those
I
people,
said.
all those
That was
eyes.
national prayer day. I said, I told him I have running stomach. I told him it was my first time. He said, you are going to preach. Prepare yourself.
Wrap up everything.
Oh
and
my God!
just
I
come
gave
up
all
to
the
preach.
excuses. He told me, you can do it.
Yes.
I remember him holding my hand before I went to preach in your hand, Pastor.
Yes.
He said, God, I present my wife before you, and she's going to preach. Anoint her, anoint her voice.
Amen.
Give her the strength.
That
Give her
kind
the
of
wisdom.
Hallelujah. God bless you,
support.
Bishop.
I'm
God
like,
bless
celebrate you.
God, this
Yeah.
man. I looked at him
celebrate
again. I
you.
said, I'm going. He said, I have released you to go.
Amen.
Please go.
Hallelujah.
And I was amazed because
Hallelujah.
looking at people alone, I was intimidated.
Thank you
But
so
the
much,
support
Mommy.
that came from the man of God has pushed me to be where I am.
Hallelujah.
I want to talk to Pastor who's watching. You can do that to your wife. Your wife is so anointed. Your wife is
Yes.
powerful. But find out what is her passion and support that passion and allow her to be. Don't compare her with another person because there is what that man has done that what you are not doing. Because sometimes you just see these people on the pulpit
Yes.
but not knowing there is so much that has been done
has been
behind the
done
curtain.
before, yeah.
The support, the prayer, the coaching, and
Sure,
all that.
sure.
And you can do it to your wife.
Thank you so much, Mommy. It has been a very good wrap-up. Let me get just her last remarks. Pastor Florence, the very last remarks to this pastor's wife who is out there watching
Yes.
and is challenging one or another, is not so sure of where to start from and where to end.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to encourage them. God knows you. God has a plan for you. You need to have a strong relationship with the Lord. Believe in yourself. And I encourage pastors, please support your wives. And the congregation, the way you love your pastors, love their wives. Give them grace. No one is perfect. We know pastors are not perfect either.
Yeah, they
so
are
we are
not.
not perfect, but give them grace. Love them. Give them gifts. Encourage them. When you love them, they'll love you back. you know, they'll love you back and we'll all be happy. So I just want to encourage us, let's love each other, to be honest. Love is a great and powerful
thank you
tool.
much. Thank you, Mommy. Thank you, Mommy. Thank you so much. God bless you, Pastor Cindy. God bless you, Pastor Florence. We are so privileged and happy to have had you today on set. It has been a very wonderful experience. We have learned. I have learned, and I believe that women out there, pastors' wives, and all the other people who come to the congregation, and the pastors out there, they have learned much, because we have learned that this is not, just as I have seen, it is not a one man's responsibility. It is not a one man's work. A congregation, as you're supporting your pastors, your men of God, kindly support the pastors' wives. Actually, if you love your man of God, you should support the wife, because it is the wife who serves your man of God first. And at the end of the day, ministry grows. We cannot go any further. I don't know whether we shall have more time with the women of God or the pastors' wives on the same topic, but it has been a very wonderful time. We have learned a lot. All this happens only here at Life Connect, navigating life together.
I just want to say bye to my husband, Bishop Dr. Dio Kiganda Salo.
We are at Shine Resort Hotel. Kindly remember to see the numbers running down. Do you have a party? Do you have a birthday party? Do you have a baby shower? This is the place to be. A wedding. They have very wonderful conference rooms. They have a good swimming pool, delicious meals, and a lot more.
I remain Pastor Cindy Kiganda. God bless you. Pastors' wives, we always meet once a month. Please come and be part of this great prayers and fellowship as we meet together as pastors' wife. God bless you. I love you.
Thank you so much for viewing and tuning in. I want to encourage pastors' wives, find a network where you can thrive. Pastor Cindy has already shared about the meetings on Saturday. Don't die alone. Find friends, find people who are walking the same journey. I want to send my greetings to my lovely husband, Pastor Charles, my sons, Israel, Tendo, Daniel, Joshua and Jason, and the members of Foundation Tabernacle. God bless you. Thank you for loving us. And to the pastors' wives, you rock, you're loved, you're celebrated. God bless you.
Thank you so much, dear viewers. We are so blessed and happy to have the women of God, and I'm also happy to be part of this great team. Thank you so much, Mr. Sawali. I send you greetings. Thank you for allowing me to serve. How would I meet these women except when you allow me to serve? Thank you so much. I love you. Nice time. Bye-bye.